we always get people asking us like, Kevin, I've seen somebody else on this platform or that platform. Like, should we be there? And the problem is that we don't know how well their campaigns are going.
This is Velocitize Talks, and I'm Lauren Cox. Today I'm here with Kevin Dam, CEO and co-founder of Aemorph. Welcome, Kevin.
Hey, Lauren. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I want to start off with a question. Tell us what Aemorph does and why they're different.
I started Aemorph back in about 2015. And this was my first stint on doing something ourselves. And my co-founder and I, when we first started, one of the things that we wanted to do and noticed was that video was on the rise. And it was a bit of a discussion amongst ourselves because it's not easy to do video. I'm sure the people behind the cameras can attest to this. But there's a lot of investment, that's required, equipment, not just doing the filming, but also the post-production work and things like that, telling the story, helping with the scripts and all that kind of stuff. But again, we knew that it was going to be something that was important. So we're actually, I believe, one of the few agencies here that combines search expertise. So predominantly we're a search engine optimization agency. We do content production. We do video. And we also do web development.
Wonderful.
So we control the whole process. And not a lot of agencies actually do that.
Do you find that you can, because you can control so much of that journey, that you get a better user experience for your clients?
Yeah, 100%. The clients and also obviously their potential customers and their target audience, right? So when I first came here and speaking to a lot of different companies and potential clients, they said, do you have your own development team? What's that like? Who will be working with? Who will be talking to? And all that kind of stuff. And the common pain point that they were talking about was we don't want to be working with, another agency or a third party, right? To implement the work and the recommendations that you tell us. We've had this experience before, we don't like it because in the end, people are just pointing fingers at each other like, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do that, right? And I experienced this firsthand when I first started. Like I was just a consultant and the company said that, they had in-house engineers that could implement. And the problem with that though is that the engineers, the marketing aspects, which is a lot of what we're focusing on, is the last thing that's on their mind. So it just falls to the bottom of the pile. And so if it's not implemented, then there's no results. And in the end, we get the blame, right? So that's the other reason why we wanted to control that whole process, and clients love it, right?
So I feel like everyone at the moment can be a little bit of a video star through social media, TikTok, etc. So how do you use, with your clients, how do you using social? And does your work intersect with video and social for some of your clients? In
terms of like what platforms we would recommend, I think it really depends on the audience and your target audience, right? Because, for example, like for us, we work with a lot of B2B clients as well, and so for them, like LinkedIn is the place to be. Some of the lifestyle brands, then like TikTok and Facebook and your Instagrams and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But one of the things that we always tell our clients is like, if something is working well, right, and you're calculating and measuring what your ROI is, stick to it, and then like look to reinvest into something else or try to make that platform potentially work better. And increase your LTV of your customers and your clients, because like we always get people asking us like, Kevin, I've seen somebody else on this platform or that platform. Like, should we be there? And the problem is that we don't know how well their campaigns are going, right? They might be getting likes, there might be comments and some shares, but are the sales actually coming through? Exactly. Right? Is it actually happening?
Like engagement rate to conversion rate. Let's have a look at that.
And we can't see that, right? Our clients can't see that. The only people that can see that is the competition, right? So we always say, like, stick to what works, and if it's really not working anymore, then you might want to think about another platform, because the problem with doing, I guess, social is that every time a new social platform pops up, you're chasing a new algorithm, right? And that becomes challenging in itself.
Yeah. So you mentioned like where people should invest their time in relation to social. Where would you say in the broader concept where small to medium businesses can actually invest their time and resources at the moment, as that's becoming a bit more precious, right? So what advice would you give?
So, not being biased or anything, but I would highly recommend search, right? And the reason why is because, as I mentioned before, like if you're on social and you're trying to jump on every single social platform, you're trying to learn a new algorithm. What does that platform want every single time? And again, that's very time consuming itself. Secondly, with search, I call it like the eighth wonder of the world in marketing, because it's one of the only platforms that allows you to have that real compounding effect, right? When you create that content, it lives on your website. It doesn't just roll off the feed in a matter of seconds, right? And that compounding effect can be very powerful, especially if you're, combining it with another system like email automation. Right. And that becomes super, super powerful.
Then what would you tell your customers and clients in order to boost rankings of SEO? Like if you had a meeting in a few minutes, what would you tell them, like current day stuff?
Whenever we speak to potential clients, they always ask us, about the bottom of the funnel types of things that people are searching for, like, somebody's looking for like a physio, service, somebody looking for like a, consultant or whatever it might be. And they're only focusing again on the bottom of the funnel, right? And the bottom of the funnel, it's only between 3 to 6% of people who are ready to buy. So if you only focus on that, you're leaving like 97 to like 94% of the potential audience on the table, right? And so like our job as marketers is to influence and convince the audience that, they should buy from you. And not only focus on the people who are ready to buy, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing I would recommend is start building like real relationships with other websites, other webmasters, other businesses. It could be, in the same industry, but in another country. It could be similar, like horizontals or verticals. And the reason why is because everybody knows now a big part of doing SEO is having what we call backlinks, right?
Yes. Is actually my next question.
And so having backlinks is important, and everybody knows about this. And I think for a very long time, people would think that, it's easy to get, backlinks, it's free. But now when everybody knows that there is some sort of value attached to it, it's not as easy to kind of acquire, right? So having that relationship with other businesses, like obviously I say SEO is very much similar to what happens in real life. If you have a business and you build good relationships with people, they will recommend you to their friends, their family, other people. And that can be applied into the SEO space.
Aemorph's also been doing some interesting development and focus in no-code. So can you tell me a little bit about that and what you've been doing there?
Yeah, so the concept of no-code is not that new, actually. I think if you go to Google Trends and have a look, the term came up as far back as like 2004. And so some examples of this are like simple form builders that, you can just key in your information, you can drag and drop, the order of the questions that pop up. And another example is like email automation, where you've got the ability to, again, drag and drop different elements onto the page and set the order of the sequence where the emails go out. So it's been around for a long time. But I think the part that has really accelerated the growth over the past couple of years is through platforms like Zapier, Automate, and like IFTTT. And these particular platforms just allow you to connect different platforms together.
Yeah.
And so information and data is not siloed as much as it used to be. And it just makes things a lot more seamless, right?
Yeah.
Given if you have the right data.
And so how at Aemorph are you using it? Are you using it internally with your customers? How are you using it?
Yeah, so there's, a lot of applications with no-code development, and I think this can also be part of the drawback, right? So for example, you could use tools to, scrape data from the internet, put that into like a spreadsheet automatically, right? Like using like Google Docs, Google Sheets. And from there, you can use it to automatically send emails out based on the information that you found. And it'll pull the data from the spreadsheet, automatically send the email out. You could then allow somebody to book like a call with you using something like Calendly. And that will be shown to the user in their local time. So if you're, we're working in a global environment now, right? So you show all the information in their local time. And then if they book that call, you can then set off another whole sequence of tasks, like put that information into another spreadsheet or a database like Airtable. Then you could start to fire off another whole sequence of tasks in something like Asana. So that whole process can be quite seamless, right? So where we've been using it though, in the company, is when we are doing it, doing SEO tasks for our clients, right? So we've used just something simple like Google Sheets to automate a lot of the information that goes back and forth between, the different worksheets that we have, instead of copying and pasting. So we can pull the data from one sheet to another, manipulate the data, and then do something with it, and then send the data off to somewhere else.
Okay, awesome. So it's just creating efficiency within Aemorph as well.
100%. Efficiencies is a big part of how we're using it, but there are companies that are using it for like pure lead gen, data mining. And again, just
marketing, sales processes.
Marketing and sales processes. And I think WP Engine's Atlas product.
Headless product.
Exactly, right. And it has a lot of like API integrations, and that's the other part. That's the other part that has made the the use of no code a lot more efficient, and the uptake a lot higher in the past couple of years.
Awesome. Thank you. So I would love to finish the interview with Kevin about and ask the question: what gets you motivated when you wake up in the morning?
Without being too cliche, so I'm expecting our first kid.
Oh, congratulations!
Soon. So that's a big part of it. But also, we're just seeing like a huge growth in how technologies have changed and are changing. And one of the things that we're doing inside Aemorph is looking at how blockchain is going to help us with our marketing efforts, as well as the training side of our business, right? So we do a lot of training for corporates, as well as internally, of course. So the new applications, I think they call it Web3, right? So I missed out on Web2. I was a bit too young for that. But now that Web3 is kind of here, we're at the cusp of something new. So I want to make sure that we're driving our clients in that direction as well, because that's where the world is going to be heading towards. So doing a lot of research, and of course, one of the first things that I do now is just, people say that it's a little bit crazy because it's really early in the morning. But I like listening to music. Just that keeps me going. My wife was just telling me yesterday that she's surprised at how I can continue doing work while listening to music all day. But it keeps me happy. And that energizes me, so powers me through the day.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Kevin. That was Kevin Dam from Aemorph. Thank you.